Americans for Fair Taxation presents the Weekly Chairman's Report, written by Steve Hayes, president of Americans for Fair Taxation, and recorded by Bob Paxton, a volunteer with the Florida FAIRtax Educational Association. And now, this week's Chairman's Report.
Hello, I'm Bob Paxton with the AFFT Chairman's Report for Friday, March 27th, 2020. U.S. manufacturing and higher paying jobs. As discussed last week, manufacturing can be defined as any mechanical, chemical, or physical process by which materials are made into new products. And it doesn't have to be done in huge factories or plants either. It can be done quite nicely in small businesses and even in home-based businesses. In another excellent article posted on the Balance website, Kimberly Amadeo looked at why we should care about getting more manufacturing jobs in the United States. Among some of her well-documented statistics are, according to the National Association of Manufacturers, there were 12,750,000 Americans employed by manufacturers. In 2017, they earned an average of $84,832 a year, including pay and benefits. The average worker outside of manufacturing earned $66,847 a year. That's $17,985 less. U.S. workers are the most productive in the world, thanks in large part to the increasing use of computers and robotics. The demand for manufactured goods is expected to triple to $30 trillion by 2025, and much of this demand will be for more sophisticated products which the U.S. could manufacture. So, how would an increase in manufacturing jobs affect us? Well, first thing would be higher incomes. As we can see, increasing the amount of manufacturing in this country is not just a nice thing because some of what was being imported is now being produced domestically. If we multiply the 12,750,000 workers times the $17,985 average annual difference in total earnings for workers with manufacturing jobs versus other jobs, that equals $229,308,750,000. Now that means that our neighbors, friends, relatives, and customers who work in manufacturing jobs will have almost $230 billion more dollars to spend in our communities. Now, if the number of manufacturing jobs doubled, and even if the pay difference didn't increase as it's likely to, there would still be a total of $460 billion in additional income created. However, it's not just the people with those manufacturing jobs that will see an increase in pay. The increasing demand for workers to fill manufacturing jobs will reduce the supply of workers available to fill non-manufacturing jobs. Therefore, non-manufacturing employers will have to offer their workers higher wages to keep them from moving to the higher-paying manufacturing jobs. Now let's look at the multiplier effect. The increase in higher-paying manufacturing jobs will not affect just the workers in those jobs, or even the workers in non-manufacturing jobs whose incomes will increase because of supply and demand. Dictionary.com defines the multiplier effect as follows: an effect in economics in which an increase in spending produces an increase in national income and consumption greater than the initial amount spent. For example, if a corporation builds a factory, it will employ construction workers and their suppliers as well as those who will work in the factory. The Economic Policy Institute published an article explaining the multiplier effect. Now, one of their tables calculated that for every 100 jobs created in various different industries, the following number of additional jobs outside that industry would be created. For every 100 jobs created in the steel product manufacturing industry, 1,289.1 additional jobs are created outside the industry. For animal food manufacturing, 100 jobs created in the industry creates 978.7 additional jobs outside the industry. For pulp, paper, and paperboard mills, the additional number is 686.6 jobs per 100 created in the industry. For every 100 jobs created in the petroleum and coal products manufacturing industry, an astounding 1,450.7 additional jobs are created outside the industry. For agriculture, construction, and mining machinery manufacturing, 415 additional jobs per 100. For motor vehicle manufacturing, 1,428, and for railroad rolling stock, for every 100 jobs created in that industry, 415.9 additional jobs are created outside the industry. Now, this article provides the following example. A factory that manufactures durable goods and employs 1,000 people, and a retail shopping mall that also employs 1,000 people, both shut down. The direct jobs lost are the same, 1,000. However, the employment multipliers show what the actual effects are. The number of indirect jobs lost for every 100 manufacturing jobs lost is 744.1. The indirect jobs lost for every 100 retail mall jobs lost, 122.1. This means that closing the factory costs the economy not just the 1,000 jobs at the factory, but 7,441 jobs. And the converse is true. If you add 1,000 jobs in a plant that's manufacturing durable goods, this will create an additional 7,441 jobs. So, how do you increase the number of manufacturing jobs in the United States? Well, the easy answer is that you increase manufacturing jobs in the U.S. by increasing the demand for U.S. manufactured goods. Now, since there are few countries in the world whose workers are even close to being as productive as U.S. workers, the U.S. has the ability to manufacture sophisticated goods that few other countries can match. So why then do we not see more of these higher-paying manufacturing jobs in the United States? When the number of American manufacturing jobs doesn't increase in spite of all the advantages in the U.S., well, the obvious reason is that something's preventing it. People look around the world and see many European countries who could possibly compete with the U.S., and they point out that the regulations in these European countries are even worse than in the United States. Their workforce is not as productive, the cost of raw materials is often higher, and these countries have higher income and payroll tax rates than the U.S. Now, a number of factors are slowing the increase in U.S. manufacturing jobs. The largest factor that's holding down the more rapid creation of U.S. jobs is our corrupt and unworkable income payroll tax system. We're the only country in the world that doesn't reduce the price of exported goods and services by between 15 and 23%. So, how do our competitors accomplish this? Well, their tax systems return to the exporter all of the value-added or consumption taxes paid from the beginning of the creation of the product until that final product is ready to be exported, while the prices of U.S. goods produced for export still contain the embedded costs of the income payroll tax system. This gives foreign-produced products a 15 to 23% price advantage in the world market to start with, and then when those exported products reach our shores, they are not taxed by our income payroll tax system. Now, there's nothing wrong or illogical about a consumer looking at two apparently identical products, one an import that's priced 20% less than the U.S. manufactured product, and selecting the lower-priced item. Now, to make matters worse, when a U.S. manufacturer produces a product for export, the exporter does not get back the embedded costs created by the income payroll tax system. Those costs have to be included in the price. Then to make matters even worse, when a U.S.-produced product arrives in another country, that country adds its 15 to 23% value-added consumption tax, making the U.S. product even that much more expensive. In conclusion, one of the things the ruling class and their minions want is for us to get so confused by the numbers that we'll just leave it to them to figure out what's best for us. However, the problem is really simple. How important would it be to you or your child's family if they were earning an additional $1,500 a month? What about all the kids leaving school that would have many more good-paying jobs available if we could add more U.S. manufacturing jobs? When the FAIRtax is law, U.S. manufacturers will have a level playing field. Consumers will pay the FAIRtax on both imported and domestic goods. Imported goods will no longer have that 15 to 23% price advantage in the U.S. market. In addition, prices of U.S. manufactured goods on the world market will be 10 to 20% lower since they will no longer contain the embedded costs of the income payroll tax system. Yes, the numbers are correct. by eliminating the 15 to 23% price advantage for imports and by eliminating the required price increase of between 10 to 20% caused by the income payroll tax, U.S. manufacturers can have production costs, including higher pay for workers, that are between 25 and 43% more and still be competitive with the imports. Now, do you want a better paying job? Do you want all Americans to have better paying jobs? If so, go to FAIRtax.org and join us. Then contact your member of Congress and the President and demand that Congress pass the fair tax, the only truly fair tax.
This has been the Weekly Chairman's Report, written by Steve Hayes, President of Americans for Fair Taxation. Check back every week for news and information about the fair tax and learn why the fair tax should replace our antiquated federal income tax system. If you'd like to receive a copy of the Chairman's Report in your inbox every week, sign up at FAIRtax.org.